Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. Early this morning, Owlcat officially announced that with the new DLC Dance of Mask, the Devil Mythic Path will finally get additional content. I know this is going to be joyous news for many of you. Quick recap for those who are not already aware. So obviously, Wrath of the Righteous has about 10 mythic paths that you can choose as you play through the game, including Angel, Swarm That Walks, Azada, etc., etc. The vast majority of these paths were announced before the game was released, and a lot of time, energy, and effort went into making sure you could have the best time possible when playing through them. So they all get a ton of content and significantly change the storyline that you experience when playing through the game. Now, Devil Mythic Path is fun in its own way. It's got an interesting story, and you meet some characters that you might not otherwise have contact with, but it obviously got the least love out of all the mythic paths. And I think part of the reason for that is it takes much longer to achieve the Devil Mythic Path than it does for any of the other ones. You can even get Swarm That Walks earlier. You get that basically at the beginning of Act 5, whereas you've got to get towards the middle of Act 5, or at least do a few quests before you can even get the Devil Mythic Path. So because of all that, it feels like the one that's the skimpiest. It doesn't have as much story content. And just in general, people felt like there wasn't enough content that was related to what Devils would actually do. Devil is really supposed to be all about having people sign contracts with stipulations that really tie that individual to that devil and force them to do whatever that devil wants. But you cannot do that in Wrath of the Righteous. In fact, I believe there's only one person you can even offer a contract to, which didn't make any sense to me and didn't make sense to a lot of people. And so I think it's one of the things that Owlcat is trying to address. Not completely sure this is going to do it though. So to be more specific, they've put out a Steam update, first and foremost walking through a lot of the history regarding why Devil Mythic Path received less content. And I thought it was interesting they called out that Devil Mythic Path was never officially announced, and they spent the past 2 years never directly referring to it, basically always saying the secret Mythic Path in their patch notes, because they didn't want to ruin the surprise of people finding out that it was in the game. And I do feel like it's a big surprise. I think discovering this path was really, really fun. I mean, even though I already knew the path was there, by the time I got to an Aeon playthrough, it was still really, really awesome meeting a devil for the first time. So I think they did a great job keeping this secret and giving players the opportunity to stumble upon this content. But then Owlcat talks a little bit about their development process and the reasons why Devil Mythic Path didn't get additional content in the enhanced edition, which is what many people were expecting. And so they said that these things happened by a vote, and the content was kind of in the middle of the pack. There were a bunch of other things that they felt took precedent. And then they had some unexpected hurdles during development for the content in Enhanced Edition, and that kind of just pushed the Devil content out of the mix. And I'll say again, for me personally, I think the reason why they don't prioritize it as much is, once again, it takes so long to get to Devil Mythic Path. It's really hard to make it everything that people want it to be. So I can definitely see how they will instead prioritize some of the things that they add into the game. Like, I think they added in some of the mythic feats. They definitely did a bunch of rebalancing, things like that that are going to affect all players across the board, instead of the small contingent of players who have actually taken the time to get to the Devil Mythic Path and experience what it has to offer. But all that being said, they said now is a good time, with the Dance of Mask DLC coming out, to add some additional Devil content into patch 2.3, which will be coming out along with the DLC. So what is this new content? It is essentially a quest. And some of you might be rolling your eyes saying one quest is not going to fix what we feel like is wrong with this path. But in this quest, it appears that you're going to have the ability to corrupt Queen Galfrey, which is very, very interesting. Again, in the original content, you do not have the ability to offer contracts to anyone, but it at least appears you're now going to be able to offer a contract to Queen Galfrey and convince her to turn away from Iomedae and maybe potentially join Asmodeus instead and become his paladin, or whatever paladins of hell are called. I think that could be super, super cool. Makes it much more believable that you're actually a devil who's capable of offering contracts and trying to get people to sign essentially their souls away. I think this will definitely be a really nice addition. It'll be interesting to see what the overall storyline for this quest is. Owlcat provided quite a few screenshots that I've had you looking at while watching this video to give people an idea of what they can expect to see when they go through this content after the DLC has been implemented. But yeah, I think it's actually pretty exciting that finally at least we'll be able to do something that feels like a real devil as far as trying to corrupt high-level leaders and convince them to join up with Asmodeus. So I don't know if that's going to fix all the problems. Me personally, I do not like devil mechanically at all. I know some of you do and see it as very powerful. I'm definitely not in that camp. I thought it sucked playing as a devil, to be completely frank with you. So it doesn't mention here that there's going to be anything done to make the mechanics more viable, but just in general, adding more to the role playability of the Mythic Path, giving it an additional quest, giving it some more content. I'm definitely happy, and I'm looking forward to going through some of this content. In fact, when I play the DLC for the first time on my own, I might go ahead and spin up Devil Mythic Path just to see whether I feel like this content is any good. And that's it. That's all the information Owlcat provided with this newest update. I know many of you were hoping and waiting for more Devil Mythic Path content, so I figured this would be exciting, and I wanted to make sure that you're aware. Leave me your thoughts down in the comments below. Is this what you were looking for? Are you happy about it? Does it make you even more excited to play Dance of Mass, or does it feel kind of irrelevant to you and it's not the aspect of Devil Mythic Path that you wanted to see Owlcat touch? Looking forward to hearing your feedback as always, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care.